What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. And you can call me many things. Many things. Today is Cinewhoop Sunday. We are going to figure out why the hell I've got this strange video noise problem on my main Cinesplore. And then we're going to move the backup Cinesplore from FPV cycle 2204s to Axis 2004s, so that both of these guys are on 2004s. At the moment, on the FPV cycle motors, this one has so much more power, and the hover point is in a totally different spot on the throttle, and it just feels completely different. Initially, I thought that would be fun. This guy has a little bit more up tilt on it, 10 degrees more up tilt. But it just, for me, it just doesn't need the extra power. This other one, the main one that I run, is on Brother Hobby 2004s, the VYs, and they've got plenty of power. They've got all the power that I need. So there's no real reason to have a bigger motor on them. That's just dead weight for no reason. And with a Cinewhoop, one of the tricks is to keep it as light as possible, because then it has less momentum, and it becomes much, much more accurate when you're trying to fly it in tight little spaces. So yeah, we'll get these things synced up, figure out what the hell's going on with the video noise over on this guy, and yeah. This is also a Q&A stream, so hit me with any questions that you've got in the live chat. Speaking of the chat, Chomper FPV was first, Kathy McKibben was next, Frank Nicholas, Robin Duckett, Scott FPV, Abraham, Arazi B Productions, Paul McDonald, Arctic Quad, T-Bird, Athix, Raccoon FPV, DM4DS, Jory FPV, Alpha Sloth, Ram Donko, Michael Hill, DQ, Brandon's Baked Beans, Remy Tim, CH3 FPV, Michael Blade, Ask Race, DQ, Jafar Zaidi, Apone, CMYK again, Esk Race, Yuki Treats, CH3, getting into a bunch of repeats here. Xanakis FPV from FPV Exchange is in the house. Everybody say hi to Xanakis. Jackalope, Carbon Cage is in the house. Carbon Cage, I saw you saying hi over on... All of you guys that say hi on Joshua's stream, I don't say hi back because I don't want to push... his stream already scrolls pretty fast. His chat already scrolls pretty fast. So if I post in there, I try to have it be of some value so that it's not just, you know, forcing the chat any faster. So I see you guys over there saying hi. I just don't say hi back because, yeah. Kevin Summer and Mr. Huggy are the last couple. I don't think I missed anybody. Martin Wynn, I might have missed you. I think I got everybody. Marcel Off Axis FPV is in the house as well. If you'd like to talk directly to me, all you need to do is tag me. In order to tag me, you can type at CiottiFPV, or you can just type CiottiFPV. Either works. You got to get it spelled right, and you can't put a space in between Ciotti and FPV. That's important. This is my full-time job. If you'd like to support me, head on over to CiottiFPV.com. CiottiFPV.com, I meant to say. Patreon helps me out the most. It's $3 whole to join, and it makes a huge difference. The more you guys jump on the Patreon page, the more I know that you want these live streams. The different things that I do, you know, the amount of support that comes in through the different things that I'm doing is what drives me to do those things more or less. So if you want more of these live streams, you want more of the Patreon content, support me over there. If you want more flight instructions, support me over on Fiverr. If you want more tuning advice, if you want more build planning, you know, over on Fiverr is where you can do that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You guys get to sort of pick what I do by where you put your dollars. And it is greatly appreciated. It makes a big difference. This is pretty nuts to be able to do this full time still. Yeah, it's kind of slick, and you guys did that. Etsy, there's some stickers. Fiverr, there's some stuff going on. T-shirts on Teespring, FPV Exchange. Of course, if you're not on there, you're just being silly. If you ever find yourself doing orders on these websites, either change your bookmark to my affiliate link or hit my affiliate link before you check out if you don't mind. It's free money. FPV Cycle, Amazon, for anything. Get FPV, oh my god, FPV Crate, Banggood, Camera Butter, AliExpress. Here's what the Etsy store looks like. Some beautiful stickers and some random hardware. Here's what the Fiverr store looks like, or not. FPV flight instruction. If you want to fly a little bit better, I can definitely help you out. If you want your rig to fly a little bit better, I can help you with your tune. If you want to put better parts and stop wasting money on shit that blows up and catches fire, I can help you out there as well with build planning down here. I'm also teamed up with Finn FPV doing flight editing and Remy Tim doing FPV mentoring, answering those technical questions for you. Here's the Teespring store. All kinds of cool stuff on here. Look at it all. Look at it. Would you just look at it? Who doesn't want a nut grabber t-shirt? Come on now. It's hidden down below my face. There it is. There it is. And then this, of course, is FPV Exchange. This is my little store that Nevin built for me. Very cool of him. FPV Exchange pulls in items from all of the other FPV stores and puts them in one place so that you can price shop, so that you can see what's in stock and where it's in stock, and so that you can sell your own stuff. It's a big deal. Jump on over and get on FPV Exchange. Start using it. You can thank me later. Let's dig into it. What are you guys tagging me and saying in the chat? Robin Duckett says, hey, CiottiFPV. T-Bird says, what's up, ugly? Michael Hill says, afternoon, Ciotti. CH3FPV says, what's cracking? Michael Blade says, what's up, buddy? CMYK says, yo, happy Sunday. Indeed. I'm going to go out and try to fly freestyle after this. I haven't flown freestyle in, like, the better part of a month. So I'm going to try to head out for a little bit after this and break some shit. Who else? YouTube just did the thing, scrolling back up to try to find my place. Thanks a lot, YouTube, you scumbag bastard. Kevin Summers says, what's good? Good date on Friday, I hope. Of course, Kevin. They're all good. Mr. Huggy says, don't buy the AOS 3.5. You won't like it. It doesn't fit 20 by 20 stacks well, and the camera holder is for DJI. However, it's great for AIOs flying with DJI. Interesting. As is the 250. The Oh My God's 250 frame is really good for exactly that, for AIOs and for DJI. It will fit a 20 by 20 stack, but the front arms become pretty much not removable without removing the 20 by 20 stack, which is kind of silly. So the 250 frame is really sort of in the same vein, it sounds like, as the AOS 3.5. What's really cool, though, about the 250 frame is that Tommy has now made us front camera plates that work really, really well. Where the hell is it? There it is. That work really, really well with the RunCam hybrid. I am really, really impressed with this rig. What I'm really impressed with, though, to be totally honest, with this rig is the all-up weight and the motor and prop combo. These Gemfan 3.5-inch props are phenomenal. These X-Nova 1804 3500s are beautiful. And the RunCam hybrid is of course outrageous. So yeah, this is a potent little combo here. Unfortunately, you would not be able to put a RunCam hybrid onto the AOS 3.5. I've talked to Chris about it. He didn't really seem all that interested in modifying it to work, but I put the bug in his ear. Maybe at some point he'll come around. Yeah, the ability to get 4K beautiful footage that's like it's somewhere in between session 4 and session 5 footage from the RunCam hybrid is really a big deal in my opinion. Yeah, being able to send something that's 280 grams down the side of a building safely and not worry about killing anyone, that's pretty cool, man. That's yeah, that's sort of been the dream for me for a long time, is to have a nice, lightweight, safe micro that I can still get the flight dynamics of a 5-inch rig with, but I can also get 4K with. And this motor and prop and camera package will do that. The reason, so I've kind of fallen in love with this thing, is 280 grams on the 3.5-inch props. The reason that I'm kind of falling in love with this is that 280 grams is closer to 600 grams than 210 grams with the 3-inch rip squeaks. It doesn't, as nice as this frame is, it doesn't really have anything to do with the frame itself. It just has to do with the all-up weight, the motor, and the prop. So yeah, I'm gonna play around a little bit with fattening up the rip squeaks. Like, for example, the rip squeaks, I'm gonna start running 4S 850s on them. That's the battery that I run on this setup. So I'm interested to see if I can maybe put the rip squeaks, which are 3-inch propellered rigs, up to like 220, 230, 240 grams, and see if I can get the similar sort of flight characteristics that I'm getting with this, but probably not, to be honest. I mean, as the weight and as the prop size increase, it's gonna fly more like a 5-inch rig because it's closer, it's physically closer to a 5-inch rig. What is more than likely gonna happen with the rip squeaks on the 3-inch props as I increase the weight is that yes, I'll get more throw, I'll get more momentum, but the sacrifice will be that it falls faster. And I've been down that road. The Acrobrat is a 3-inch rig, and I've had Acrobrats at every different weight imaginable. 250 grams, 260, 270, 280, 290, 300, 310, 320, 330. So I kind of know where that's gonna go, but it'll be nice to be able to back it with this. So if I get that 3-inch rig up to 230 or 240 grams, and then I can back it with this at 280 on the 3.5-inch props, that's the only real way to figure that out, right? Here in the US, we don't really have to worry about sub 250. It's not, I mean, we kind of do, and it is nice to stay sub 250. I don't know. I haven't flown this at sub 250 on the 3.5-inch props. The build doesn't really support that weight. But I don't think I would like it. I really like this at 280. The float characteristics are very, it's I can fly it very confidently, and I can fly it very hard, and I don't smack it into the ground a lot. When I start smacking micros into the ground a lot, it means that they're falling too fast. My muscle memory, my 4.5 plus years of flying, have my brain wired in a certain way. Most of that flying has been done on 600 to 610 gram 5-inch rigs. So my brain is sort of wired in a way, and when I start flying like shit, basically that means that the rig, either I'm just flying like shit that day, or there's something about the rig that is not normal, right? My brain has like a normal, a preconceived whatever of how these things should fly. So yeah, I pay attention to that, and so should you. Carbon Cage says, love you still. Thank you, brother. YouTube just did the thing again. Scrolling back up. Frank and CMYKFPV dropping the link to CiottiFPV. Thank you, boys. YouTube just did the thing again. Wow, it's never done it twice in a row like that. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Apone says, hi, CiottiFPV. I just switched to DJI. I gotta say the penetration is so good, it could even satisfy my wife. Weirdo with a skateboard says, oi, oi. How's it going, lad? What's up, weirdo? Thomas Shuey's World says hello. Scott FPV says I'm about to put in a pack while streaming CiottiFPV in my headphones. Nice, Scott. Don't crash, Scott. Don't crash. Crash. You're gonna crash, Scott. You're gonna crash. You're gonna crash. Just don't hit it. Don't hit it. No. Hey. Try to make him anxious. Ram Donko says, do you run the hybrid at 2.7 or 4K? I keep bouncing back and forth, Ram. It doesn't seem to deal with low light. So here's the deal. At 4K, the RunCam hybrid will be 30 frames a second. And in theory, that'll allow the shutter speed to come all the way down to 1/30th. And that'll give you some really nice motion blur. At 2.7K, the RunCam hybrid is going to run at 60 frames a second. So the shutter speed is going to bottom out at 1/60th of a second, which is a little bit less motion blur. What that also means is that at 4K, it should be able to let in more light, because that shutter speed will go lower. It'll go slower to 1/30th of a second. And I keep meaning to test that, but I haven't. What I will say though is that the damn thing is really not great with low light anyway. So I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna go back up to 2.7. I had it on 2.7 for a while. The footage looks great. I put it to 4K. The footage looked exactly the same, which is totally normal. That happens all the time in digital cameras when it's not like a really high end, when there's not really high end glass, when it's just not a really high end kind of camera. So yeah, I don't know. I really wish that they would do 2.730. That's what I would really prefer. But you can't always get what you want. You know, I also do want to test field of view. There could be a difference in field of view between 2.7 and 4K. You guys want to test that now? What would you guys rather do? Test that now and burn some of our Cinewhoop repair time, or I'll test it on my time. It shouldn't be hard to test it. I can put a battery on this guy. So what I'm thinking is I'll turn some of these lights off to give this a real challenging low light situation. Kick the camera on. It's on 4K 30 right now. Record for a second. Grab my phone, go to the RunCam software, pull up the QR code, try to remember how the hell to do the QR code thing on this, and then that'll switch it to 2.760, and then we'll record again, pointing in the same direction, and then I'll pull the card, and we can look. Let me know if you got. Otherwise, I'll test it on my time, and forget to tell you guys the results. Good question, Ram. Mr. Huggy says, I've talked to Chris about hybrid cameras as well as some of the other problems with his frames. Very cool, Mr. Huggy. Anybody else who's interested in RunCam hybrids on a 3.5-inch rig, message Chris Rosser and say, yo, set your fucking frame up for a RunCam hybrid, please. Because, I don't know. Yeah, RunCam hybrid on a micro is a lethal combo, guys. Like I haven't really done much, really like cinematic with it yet, but it's coming. It's coming. I don't know if it's going to be on 3-inch or 3.5-inch, but I've got a couple of rip squeaks with RunCam hybrids in them that I do need to fix. I was almost going to do that today, but I need to spend a little time on the Cinewhoops. I got some crazy shit coming up this week. Something with Rick Ross, believe it or not, and Young Jeezy. I don't know. A bunch of other big name people. Zanakis says, thoughts on the GoPro Hero Session X. Is it just a rumor? So the good news on the GoPro Hero 10 is that it's going to be the same frame. It's going to be the same case as the Hero 9. That's good news for me, because I just ordered $60 worth of GoPro Hero 9 TPU mounts. So when the Hero 10 comes out, I will be destroying my Hero 8 and swapping into the Hero 10, because it's going to have 5K 60 frames, 4K 120 frames, I think it's 4K 120. It might be 2.7, but it's the specs are fucking amazing. With the only problem that I've been having with the Hero 8 is that you have to pick, like every time I talk to one of these directors, I have to tell them, like, hey, you got to pick 4K 4x3 30 frames only, no option to do 50% speed with full frame rate, or 2.7K 4x3 60 frames. And that sucks to have to force them to pick, because they're all hell-bent on 4K. The reason why 4.3 is required is for Real Steady Go. Real Steady Go requires 4x3. So yeah, with the Hero 10, I'll be able to run 4K 60 frames and be good to go. Maybe even 120 frames, I forget. But I probably won't do that. I'll probably just keep 60. 60 frames slowed down 50% is pretty gorgeous. You typically don't need to slow all the way down to 25% with 120 frames, unless you're specifically doing something that has like mega speed to it. So yeah. Session X, Session 10, from what I understand, was just a rumor. If it's not a rumor, I mean, what I've heard is that it would be a Hero 8 in a session box. And I mean, that's like, if that happens, I will definitely sell. I have a bunch of stuff, like random life stuff that I've been meaning to sell on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. I will go ape shit selling everything I possibly can. Like, I got a bunch of Miata parts and stuff like that. I will sell everything I own to get 2 of those goddamn things, maybe 3, with Best Buy protection plans. That a Hero 8 internals in a session box, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Also, if that happens, these 5 session 5s that I have will get the shit kicked out of them. You know that impossible dive? Yeah, that impossible dive will become possible, or I will die trying. That's really exciting. Oh my god, like if that's more than a rumor, that's a huge deal. Yeah, and then the other thing that's going to happen if that's real is that we should all buy as many of them as we possibly can, right? Like, because God forbid they discontinue the session again and we're in this situation where they're, they go up in price. Yeah. I mean, an easy way to think about it with, well, no, see, then you're all tied. I was going to say, we buy like a dozen of the damn things and get protection plans on all of them. But then the problem is you're tied into a dozen well, no. Okay, so yeah, then you're tied into a dozen GoPros at Best Buy. Worst case scenario, they discontinue the session and you've got 12 of the damn replacement plans, right? Before the replacement plan ends, you smash them. And you go back to Best Buy and you say, hey. And they say, well, that's discontinued. So then you're stuck getting a bunch of Heroes, right? But that's fine because you just don't open them and you throw them on eBay, right? And you get 90% of the value of the Heroes on eBay. So yeah, if the Session X does come out, my recommendation is going to be that we buy as many as we possibly can with protection plans. Like an absurd, like double digits worth of them, you know what I mean? So that we have them for as long as possible. The shortest protection plan is 2 years now at Best Buy. You can do either 2 or 4 years. So yeah. So if that happens tomorrow, right? 2 years from now, there's no more sessions, but you just smack them all with a hammer. You bring them back. You put that value into whatever the brand new shiny hero is, and then you just hawk those fuckers on eBay, right? Session X. Come on, universe! Give it to us, you motherfucker! Give it to us! I don't even care if it's a little bit bigger. I don't care if it's a little heavier. I don't care. As long as it's not a fragile-ass hero, I am in. I am in so hard. So hard. I was wondering that, Remy Tim. Thank you for saying that. He says, Best Buy's replacement plan just gives you a store credit so you can buy a brand new TV with all the replacement plans. That is awesome. I was wondering that, but I figured I would be safe and just assume that you would have to swap into... So yeah, that really cements the fact that if a Session X comes out, like for real, we need to all... literally invest, right? We're literally invest in Session X's. Fuck Bitcoin, yo. Invest in Session X's. I mean, Christ, if they do get discontinued down the road, maybe we'll be able to sell the fuckers for $500 per, right? Look what's happening with the Session 5s. They're selling on eBay for like $250 each at this point. That's almost what they were new. So yeah, invest in fuck GoPro stock. That's too risky. Invest in Session X's. Top financial tips from CiottiFPV. Scrolling back up here in the chat, what do we got? A little bit of Aethix FPV says Bob Noxious was able to fit 3.5-inch props on the Ripsqueak. Yeah, Bill told me about that. The Ripsqueak arms are designed for the GEP-RC prop guards, which just happen to be almost exactly 3.5 inches in diameter. So yeah, you can put 3.5-inch props on the Ripsqueaks. The V2, I think that only works on the V2. Yeah, the V1 it won't clear, but the V2 Ripsqueak you can put 3.5-inch props on, which is amazing. That's going to make my life a lot easier because I'm going to switch all my Ripsqueaks to the V2, and then I'm going to be playing around with different motor and prop combos at 210 grams, 220, 230, 240, 50 to try to really figure this out. That's coming. I was tempted to start that today, but I really need to get these Cinewhoops in a good place. Jackalope FPV says, is your Cinesplore 6S? It is not, Jackalope. There is no benefit to running anything more than 4S on a Cinewhoop, and there are quite a few problems with doing that. The main problem is that it stresses those tiny little ESCs out to the max. If you put a 5-inch ESC in, then you're good to go, but those are needlessly heavy. There's in my opinion, no real reason to do that. You want to go with a lighter weight, micro-specific 20 by 20 ESC. It's going to save you 5 to 10 grams, and yeah, then just run 4S. Basically, the easiest way to think about 6S versus 4S is that 99% of the efficiency gains from 6S are at full throttle on a 5-inch rig. So 100 amps, let's say. On a micro or on a Cinewhoop, the motors are too small to generate 100 amps, so you'll never get the amp draw that high. B, you never really go full throttle, right? You're always in the middle of the throttle, and in the middle of the throttle, there's no real efficiency benefit to 6S over 4S. And again, 6S stresses the shit out of the ESC. So yeah, 6S is 6S on micros is a really good example of the hype train hard at work. No testing, no like actual thought process put into it. Just the manufacturers start making 6S micros, and everybody goes, "Oh my God, it's the answer," without really thinking about it. It's human nature, right? Like that's the way our brains work. But yeah, when you get right down to it and you actually test two rigs back to back that are identical, 6S doesn't make any sense on micros, and it just cooks ESCs all the time. So don't do it. The thing that pisses me off though is that a lot of the motor manufacturers have dumped their KVs down really low. So if you want to run 4S on some micros, it's a little hard to find motors that are a high enough KV. But there are motors out there, such as the Axis 2004s in 3710 KV, which is what we're going to be putting on here. And even the lower KV, Brother Hobby VY 2004s in 3150 KV. 3150 kV on these brilliant Gemfan D76s makes plenty of power. So these Axises will need to get motor scaled down a little bit, which is always what I want. I always want my setups to be motor limited down a little bit, to like 80% or 85% or 90%, so that I have a little bit of headroom. If I'm in a situation where I want or need more horsepower, I can do that in the OSD rather than having to swap to a higher KV motor. You know, these rigs are about to go. These rigs are about to get like 30-ish grams heavier, I think, going from the Hero 8. Probably not that much. Probably like 20-something grams heavier. Going from the Hero 8s, which they're currently set up with, to the Hero 10 when it comes out. So there's a chance. There's a total chance that these Brother Hobby 3150 kV motors will actually not make quite enough power. What I'll probably I'll probably leave them and then just switch. And this one on the Axis motors will be the primary rig that I run, and then that other guy will be like the backup rig that I'll use, like, you know, for just inside flying and just slow speed stuff, things like that. But we'll see. I'm pretty impressed by these Axis motors already. I can't wait to actually get them on there and get them up in the air. Ramdonko says, got a few 750 mAh batteries for the rip squeaks and to be CiottiFPV. Weirdo with a skateboard, you're gonna dig those batteries. Ram 750 is a good that's a good middle ground. Weirdo with a skateboard says, can you check DC a sent photo, a think your appreciate, and a question I don't want to ask on chat because don't want you to think trying to promo. Did I see DC? I think DC is Discord. Yes, I'm a little behind on Discord messages, but I will get caught up. June Loco said, what's up? Ready to rip? Hey! YouTube did the thing, of course. There we are. Quadzimoto says, howdy, partner. Scott FPV says, halfway through that... I was halfway through that pack when you started fucking with me. Mr. Huggy says, I've just said sod it and bought 2 Mod L's 3.5 inch normal and cargo to replace the AOS 3.5. What the hell's a Mod L? Copy link address. Let's see what a Mod L is. Oh, that thing. Very cool. Let me know how you like it, Mr. Huggy. This is this Mod L frame, which is interesting. There's some things I like about this frame. There's some things that I don't like. I'm interested to see what Mr. Huggy thinks about it. Very cool. CNCdrones.com. Interesting. Mr. Huggy, have you tried a Ripsqueak frame yet? Any thoughts? Weirdo with a Skateboard says, do you think there's any reason they just don't do a regular and a session for every model? I mean, my guess is that it's just too much R&D to do that. The form factor is so different between the two of them that they have to completely redesign, like the motherboard, the boards that are in there, and the battery, and the whole point of the sessions is that they're super durable. So that's like a different part of the design brief or whatever, right? Whereas the heroes, it's like, you know, hey, how many screens can we squeeze in? That's what we care about. So, yeah, that would be my guess. Because every time they change anything on the PCBs, then they've got to completely redesign them. A bunch of us also wondered with this, like, if they didn't make any money on the sessions because they have the protection plans and shit, but I mean, that's kind of silly. I don't know. I think the main reason that they discontinued the session is because there was no screen on it. And 99% of the people that are buying GoPros don't give a shit about anything other than, does it have a screen on it so I can... Put screens on the sides and the top and the front and the back. Put screens on the inside. More screens, more screens. More screens, more screens, more screens, more screens, more... Okay. Athix FPV says, considering that DRL uses sessions on everything, the Session X would be profitable. Yeah, it's very true. That's very true, Athix. Remy Tim's, we got that. M2KFPV says, your 250 is 4-inch running 3.5-inch props. Did you try 5-inch arms? Got, oh my god, 2004 motors for 5-inch, but I don't know. I didn't try the 5-inch arms. I have no interest in propellers. On a rig that weighs what this weighs, I'm not even interested in 4-inch props. I've flown this on 4-inch props, and it's just, it flies like a toothpick. It's not heavy enough for that size of a propeller. So yeah, to go even further up to 5-inch props, it would just be even more intolerable for me to fly. Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say about that. Whack FPV says, how's the Cinesplore motor sound next to people? All of the Cinewhoops are very loud. Very, very loud. And they are a little intimidating, admittedly. The Cinewhoops that are carrying full weight GoPros, that is. I do have a Hero 6 that I haven't done anything with. It came from GoPro as a replacement when they ran out of Session 5s. I need to strip the damn thing down and set it up as a naked Hero 6, and start flying that around. But I haven't done it yet because the Beta FPV BEC motherboards apparently blow up all the goddamn GoPros. And I haven't really the naked GoPro thing is very finicky. And working in on locations where, like, you've got one shot to get it, you've got, one battery to get it, you've got 2 batteries to get it, you can't have that. You can't have a finicky camera that, like, if you forget to hit the shutter stop button and you just unplug your battery, it wipes the goddamn footage out. Or if you accidentally bump into something and crash, it breaks. So, yeah. My Hero 8 is lightened up a little bit. If you're the cold hard fact is, if you're picking up 400 plus grams, it's gonna make some noise. The gigs that I've done where I've been flying around people, as long as I have a safety meeting and I say, hey, this is it, look at it now, so that you don't need to look at it ever again. It's going to sound loud, just completely ignore it. The fact that it's nice and loud is a good thing because you'll know when it's coming. It's been totally cool. Flying around strangers, right, that you haven't been able to have a safety meeting with is a whole different scenario, but you shouldn't be doing that, right? Like, shouldn't be doing that. So, I don't know. It's interesting. A Session X with a Hero 8 with Hero 8 internals, that's a pretty compelling Cinewhoop camera right there, right? Because in theory, it'll be 80 to 90 grams. That is a big weight savings. It's obviously not the same as 25 grams or whatever the hell a naked GoPro weighs, but it's a hell of a lot closer. And the Hero 8 footage is fantastic. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But when it comes right down to it, the naked GoPro thing, like, there's here's today's shirt, FPV Crate shirt. The naked GoPro thing it's just too finicky. It's too finicky. It's too fragile. There's too many chances for failure from, like, an operator standpoint, but also from just a human being standpoint. So that's kind of why I haven't done it yet. I know I need to, but if I had done it by now, I still don't think I would be using it on any of these shoots, because it's just gonna blow up, or I'm just gonna lose the foot. Like, there's just too many opportunities for fuckery. But yeah, Cinewhoops are loud. Anything that's like 300 plus grams all up weight is gonna be loud, no matter what. Thrust makes noise, right? The sound is coming from fast moving air meeting still air. So the heavier the rig is, the faster you need to move the air. And then it becomes even worse when you put prop guards or ducts on the damn thing. So noise is just a part of the game, but if you're on a shoot and you talk to people and you say, hey, look, this isn't going to kill you, don't reach for it and put your fingers in the blades and you'll be totally safe. Yes, it's loud, but that's a good thing because you'll be able to hear it coming, so you can start acting. And yeah, you'll be good to go. Good question, Whack FPV. It's a really good question. Kevin Summer says, what flight controller do you like? I need a 20x20, preferably with camera control pad, 5 volt that's active, while on USB for binding and debugging. Oh my god. I don't, at the moment, Kevin, I don't have a flight controller that I recommend. I bought a whole bunch of these Acon V1 flight controllers before they got discontinued, and I have a stockpile of them. So, and like every time I look at the 20x20 flight controllers, I see things that I don't like about them. I think that the T-Motor 20x20 is probably your best bet, but I haven't run one, I haven't crashed one, I haven't really dug into one to know that for certain. In terms of the 5-volt active while USB is on, I have no idea. You're going to have a hard time finding anybody. You're going to have to find people that have these flight controllers and ask them that, because that is not going to be in any of the specs. Yeah, so chat. So the chat, do you guys know of any 20x20 flight controllers that do what Kevin is looking for? I'm going to copy and paste it. Copied, pasted. There you go. Chat. Let your boy know. CMYKFPV says, switching over to Crossfire today. Wish me luck. Nice. You're going to love it, brother. Ruby Tim says, if we all go buy new sessions, maybe it'll be enough business to to get them to keep making it. Yeah, true, right? Thomas Shuey's World says, so you smash your GoPro with Best Buy's protection plan and they swap it, no questions asked? Pretty much, yeah. I mean, like, they'll ask you, like, what the hell happened, and then you just say, like, oh, I dropped it. Or, like, you know, it got run over, or whatever. You don't want to tell them that you're flying it on a quad, because I think there's something in the protection plan that specifically says, like, you can't put these on a drone. But, yeah, they just swap it out. It's unbelievable. Robin Duckett says, big number good, small number bad. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. YouTube is really being very challenging with the chat. It's not scrolling properly. I don't know what the... There it goes. Mr. Huggy says, it's a bit of a pain to get from the US to the UK. Canada is much easier. Oh, Ripsqueak. Okay, gotcha. So you haven't flown a Ripsqueak yet. All right. Well, I'm very interested to know how that CNC, whatever the hell it is, frame is. The GAC frame or whatever. CiottiFPV with a $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, what up, Aaron? Sorry if I spelled it wrong. Just wanted to say those adjustments I made worked great. Thanks again for taking your time and helping me. You are certainly welcome, Callie. So the last minute adjustments we did were surrounding bounce back, right? Callie hired me over on Fiverr to do tuning. So we spent a little over an hour going through what his setup is, what his goals are for the rig, how he flies, where he flies, all kinds of stuff like that. And then I got him dialed in on with a tune and a filter setup and some other little tweaks in Betaflight. And he actually got back. So I never push. So he told me, like, he doesn't want to be razor's edge. He wants to be backed off so that he can crash and bang up motors and bang up props, which is awesome. I love that. I have that same thought process. He got back to me after he flew the rig and he said, hey, there's a little bit of bounce back on pitch and roll. So I was able to tell him, okay, go into the sliders and do this and this. And that should take care of it. And it sounds like that did take care of it. What happened when we were tuning is he told me that he was on 4S, but once we really dug into the tune, I didn't remember that he was on 4S rather than 6S. So I set him up with a tune that would have worked on 6S, but it was a little bit soft for 4S. But you know, luckily we were able to just push a couple values, and that made up the gap between 4S and 6S. So that's really good to hear that. Callie, yeah, those adjustments that we talked about, if you want it even more locked in, you can continue pushing them like that. Just keep an eye on the motor heat like we talked about, and you'll be good to go. Word FPV says, so the Beta FPV BECs blow up the naked GoPros. That's got to be what happened to mine. Yeah, Word. Apparently the BEC that Beta FPV put onto their PCB thing to make the naked GoPros is like garbage, or I don't know. They talk about it in the Facebook Cinewhoop group all the time. And yeah, apparently the PCB from It's not Happy Model. It's the company that uses yellow TPU on others. Full Speed. Full Speed has a PCB for the naked GoPros that's apparently fine, and I actually have one, but there's all these other things about the naked GoPros that I don't like, namely that they're fragile. I crash, and if I crash and a $300 GoPro blows up, I'm gonna be fucking pissed, especially one that I spent 5 hours decasing and doing all this other shit with. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons that I haven't gone down the naked GoPro route yet. I should have by now, but I haven't. Wow. And I don't know when I will. No promises. But I will at some point, because that Hero 6 is just sitting there doing a whole lot of nothing. We're doing with the skateboard says, I'm off early tomorrow. Have a good one. Thanks for hanging, brother. Big and or I'm sorry, not just big weirdo. Oh, looks like you guys are helping Kevin out. Very cool. Way to go, Collective. The Collective is what all of you beautiful bastards that have joined the Patreon are called. If you want to be able to call yourself a part of the Collective, you got to give me $3 of your dollars a month. Join the Patreon page. There's lots of good stuff going on over there. Audio versions of all the live streams, so that you can just listen and get all this good info in your ears without having to look at my stupid fat face. My face isn't fat, but it's just fun to say. And a bunch of other good stuff. Technical articles, secret streams, a secret playlist on YouTube with almost 100 raw or unfinished edits of mine. Lots of good stuff. Michael Blade FPV says, Best Buy actually sends it in first. I just did this last week, so you have to wait at least 2 weeks for a new GoPro, at least at my Best Buy. So that is Best Buy dependent. That sucks that your Best Buy does that, Michael Blade. It seems like not many Best Buys are doing that. It seems like the majority of the Best Buys, when they see that it's completely smashed to hell, they just give you another one. But technically speaking, yes. Best Buy has the right to say, oh, it's smashed, we're going to send it in to see if they can repair it. So that's why it's important to have multiples, unfortunately, right? You smash one of your GoPros, you wait 2 weeks for it to come back, you have your other one. Kind of sucks, but it's kind of unbelievable that there's a protection plan that we have access to that'll do this for us, right? Let's not take that for granted. That's a really big deal that we have access to that. That's crazy, right? The rest of the world does not. So let's show our appreciation for that and just kind of suck it up, I guess. Metal Durskin says, is the main complaint about the Talon flight controllers that they don't crash well? Yes. So might be better suited for a Cinewhoop anyway. Yes, for sure, Metal. They don't crash well. Although what has happened to all of my Talon flight controllers is the BEC fails. The BEC typically fails when I crash it really hard. So, in theory, yeah, if you don't crash them really hard, the BEC won't fail. I think there's a Talon flight controller in here. There is. So there's a Talon flight controller in here, and I'm having some weird video noise issues, so there's actually a chance that the Talon flight controller has failed in here. I doubt it, but there is a chance. So we'll see in a minute, now that I'm caught up on chat. Look at that timing. Look at that timing. Look at this chat blowing up. Look at you guys all talking to each other. Very cool. Cool, so I'm caught up on chat. Tag me if you have any other questions. I'm gonna get to work. Hey, how's the audio sound? I put one of my foam panels directly behind the microphone right now, and I actually moved the microphone to the other side of... Ooh, you know what? I need to get this. I did a gig earlier today, and I need to keep Real Steady Go on boil here, getting some work done. So that was 06, so we're going to go to 07. Unfortunately, this is going to fire up the the fans on the laptop, and the laptop kind of sits right next to the microphone. So you guys might get a little bit of whooshing and banging sounds. Maybe not, though. Let me just do this super quick, like there, and hit OK. All right, cool. But yeah, it should be a little bit less echoey today with this piece of foam right behind the mic, or not. Brandon's Baked Bean says, how and where do you charge? I know you used to charge on the floor behind you. Do you have a fireproof setup now? I still charge on the floor, but I have Kevlar lipo bags like kind of everywhere. And then I put the batteries in the big Kevlar lipo bag. The Kevlar lipo bags work extremely well. Flight Test tested them a while ago, and it's nuts how well they work. So I'm okay with charging on the carpet as long as there's always a lipo fire bag in between the batteries and the carpet and or anything else that's flammable. So yeah, when I'm in a hurry, I will admittedly charge on top. I actually have two. Actually, there's three lipo bags. So when I'm in a hurry, I'll charge on top of those lipo bags. The only chance, but it's all opened in all directions around it. So if a battery goes up, it's worst case is it shoots down into the lipo bag and it's fine. If it shoots up or to the side, it's not going to catch anything on fire. It's kind of a janky setup, but you know, if you just like look at it and you just think like, okay, worst case scenario, it shoots fire that way. What's going to happen? Nothing. That way, nothing. That way, nothing. That way, nothing. Just like stare at it, stare at your charging setup, and just like go through the absolute worst case scenarios. Okay, one battery goes off and it catches a second battery, and that one goes off, right? Is that second battery close enough? Like, just work yourself through all the different worst cases, and you can pretty easily get a little charging setup that's pretty damn safe. Also, I mean, I've never had a battery go off on the charger, because when the batteries get like really mangled, I leave them outside. That's really kind of the biggest part of it, is just not, I was going to say being an idiot, but I'm trying to be less mean. You guys know what I mean, right? Like sniff your batteries. Like after big wrecks with these batteries, like be careful. Sniff them. Make sure they don't smell sweet. If they're too mangled, if they're too like accordioned up, just don't bring them inside. Like it's not worth, $30 is not worth burning your house down. I really find that common sense and discipline are the keys to not having battery and lipo fires. Can they happen even if you're careful? Of course. But if you're careful, it really cuts down the risk an unbelievable amount. Most battery fire stories that I hear begin with, yeah, I was being kind of lazy, or I didn't have my fireproof setup put together yet, or right, like, or I knew this battery was kind of mangled or something like that. So, yeah. Jackalope FPV says, do you have an FPV quad backpack, one of the fancy ones? I don't know if it's fancy, but it was $60. It's the one that like everybody has. It's the low pro BPX, I don't know, BPX3 quad guard. Just this, the one that most people have. It was $60. It's big enough to carry my 15-inch laptop, which is fantastic. It's big enough to carry 16 plus batteries, 3 rigs at least, up to like 5, maybe even 6 quads on the outside. It's arguably a little too big, but if it was any smaller, it might not fit the 15-inch laptop. So for me, and for the fact that it was only $60, done. The ethics bag is interesting, but it's way too expensive, and it's not. I don't think it's big enough for a 15-inch laptop. So, somebody just came up with a. Thomas Shoes World says, so your video editing workstation is a laptop? Sorta. I edit here on my desktop, which is a 13-year-old Mac, and then I do some editing on the laptop as well. The laptop is a lot newer, and it's a little bit faster, so it runs Real Steady. Well, it runs Real Steady Go. There is no version of Real Steady Go that works on the OS from this old ass desktop. So I have to run everything through Real Steady Go on the laptop, and at that point I'll usually just knock the edit out on the laptop. It's nice to be able to go to the coffee shop and work on edits, or sit on the couch or sit on the balcony, and get some work done. But I prefer working on the desktop here because I have two 23-inch monitors. But yeah, it's nice to mix it up. CMYK says audio is money. Very cool. CMYK, can you actually tell a difference? Brandon's Baked, we got that. Jackalope set, we got that. And okay, cool. All right, we're good to go. Remember, if you want to talk directly to me, type CiottiFPV into your comment, and then it'll light up an orange for me. This is what it looks like when you guys do that. You don't have to put the @ in front of it, but you just got to type CiottiFPV, and then it'll light up an orange. I don't read the whole chat because you guys talk to each other a lot, and that's the way I like it. I want you guys hanging out with each other. The community that I've somehow managed to stitch together here with these live streams is fantastic. All right, let's do a little bit of Cinewhoop work. 4 o'clock, cool, not bad. So hey, here's the finished cinematic glide that I worked on all last week. Look at that beautiful bastard. Look how good that looks with the glossy carbon. Are you kidding me? Dead cat arms. This is a 20mm GoPro mount. Actually, let's see. Yep, no props in view. Cool. So yeah, dead cat front arms, 20-degree GoPro Hero mount on wide, and there are no props in view. I'm gonna get a 10-degree mount, or I can just boost up the rear mounting points to bring this angle down even more, and I'll see at what point props come into view with these dead cat arms. I'm willing to bet that I can go all the way down to 10 degrees without any props in view, but if I go down closer to like 0, which is kind of silly, you never really want 0, but I'll bet you at 0 degree up tilt there might be some prop in view. But this is pretty cool for 20 degrees to have no props in view. The things that you guys didn't get to see me do are the zip ties on the little camera mount there, and what they do is grab onto the UFL. Let's see if I can get this goddamn thing to focus. Come on. Come on, Logitech, now's your chance to be good. It is focused, but it's just kind of too dark. Well, yeah, you can kind of see it there. It's a UFL direct antenna to save about 10 grams of weight, going straight to the VTX. And yeah, this little mount, which is available on Thingiverse under Zoot, Rotorius Zoot. Yeah, it's a really nice little antenna setup. And then the Immortal T in the bottom, constant on LED. And then yeah, the 30x30 stack, which is kind of interesting. Usually I do a 20x20 ESC in the front, but yeah, it flew great. It flew great earlier today. Very happy. The camera, the CCD camera, was interesting. I didn't do anything that would bring out the advantages or the disadvantages, but it was fine. It was totally fine. No complaints. It was maybe a complaint. It might have been a little bright, but you know, probably adjust that in the settings. So yeah, another cinematic rig to replace the one that's at the bottom of the fucking ocean. Main piece of work that I want to get done is on this rig to figure out why the hell there's so much video noise. Let me actually get a baseline. It's been a minute since I flew that. So let me get a baseline on the video noise by just grabbing my transmitter and taking a quick look. Stand by, boys and girls. What's that? I need a 4S for that. Hey, look at that, a 4S battery. What a coincidence. Okay, so you know what? I won't even do this with the goggles. I will do this with the monitor so that I can show you guys. And then that'll also give me the opportunity to rewind the stream and see the video noise. Ram Danko says, what's the standoff height? On the Cinesplore, it looks like 28. Whatever the standoffs that it comes with are the right height to clear these ducts. You can't really go any lower because the lip of the duct will foul on the Hero mount. See what I mean? If you were asking about the cinematic glide, I put that on 20 millimeter standoffs, and then I put a 1 millimeter spacer on the front standoffs to just get a little bit of extra height for that big ass camera, that big ass FPV camera. All right, kicking the monitor on here. Channel 39. CMYK says, sounds a bit better, very cool. Robin Duckett says, sweaty balls, and taint. FPV Trucker says, finally finished my analog glide. It was DJI, now I have two analog glides, Acon F7 30x30, Acon 32, Newbie Drone Flow 1850s, Rush Mini VTX on a Crossfire going out for a test flight. Very cool. Analog for life. This guy knows what's up. FPV Trucker knows. Wind Jumbie says, how did that 5-inch fly? Totally fine. Just like all of the, just like all my other 5-inch rigs. No real difference. I preemptively put a little bit more P and D gain onto the pitch axis, just because I just know that it's going to need that. And yeah, it was totally good. Flew completely fine. Not a single complaint. All right. Here we go. I'm going to keep this transmitter as far away from the microphone as possible. And then I'm probably going to forget and bring it closer to the microphone, so I'll apologize in advance for that. Here you guys go. Let me just push this forward and manually focus this. All right, so all we're looking for is the amount of video noise. This is going to be very unscientific, but, you know, it's kind of my thing. Okay. Like how I just didn't acknowledge the fact that I shot hot gas up in your faces. It's all good. Don't always need to celebrate burps. You can just let them happen. Gross everybody out. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna half-ass this. Just whatever. I just want to raise the throttle up and down and move it around, let the PID loop come active, and we'll see what the noise be looking like. Hey! Wow, that's really hard for you guys to see. Hold on. Nah, I need to point this down. I'm being lazy. Don't be lazy, bro. Don't be lazy. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. There we go. That's way better. All right, so yeah, just pay attention to the noise, and then we're gonna try to fix it. That's interesting. Hey, 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 hey! Easy, easy. All right, there we go. So there it is. And oh, a little close with the transmitter. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold this guy. So you see how the OSD drops out? That's my problem. All right, so what throttle value does the OSD drop out at? Is my main question. Because it happens when I'm cruising, and it's not good. So it's about 45%. About 45% throttle, the OSD drops all the way out. Let's see if we can fix that. Hopefully, when I pull this thing apart, the camera ground and the VTX ground are not on the same pad. Because I'm hoping that I can just make that change and this problem will go away. If that's not the problem, we're going to have to do a little more work, which is fine. But yeah, I'm hoping that that is the problem because that'll be the easiest fix. And yeah, as long as I can get the OSD to not completely blank out at 40-45% throttle, I'm going to be happy. I don't need the OSD to be perfect. I don't need the picture to be perfect. I just need them, right? Like, I need to be able to see, to some extent, where I'm going. With Cinewhoops, you're going very slowly. You're typically going on a planned route, so you really don't need, like, super crisp. I mean, it helps, but not a total necessity. So let's dig in. Let me, really quickly, though. Jackalope says, I was comparing your glide frame to Joshua's Lumineer frame and was surprised that they were about the same weight. With that said, why do you prefer the glide over his? Better motor protection on the glide. The glide's a little bit lighter, and the glide is much more adjustable. You can change the standoff height. You've got multiple different arm options, 4mm, 5mm, 6mm. You've got 5-inch arms, 5-inch dead cat arms, 5.5-inch dead cat arms, 6-inch True X arms, 7-inch True X arms. You have the... those are the main things. Those are the main things that I prefer on the glide over the... I'm missing some, but yeah, those are the big ones for me. FPV Trucker says, I forgot JB Phoenix cam, 647 grams all up weight. That's a pretty good weight. Robin Duckett says, I'd really love if the various aviation authorities would make it clear that there's a difference between quadcopters and creepy DJI-style multi-rotor camera drones. Yeah, I would too. But that's tough, right? I mean, how the hell do they do that? Robin Duckett says, doing a danger hold. Yeah. Metal Durskin says, looks like it starts flickering on the 30s. Robin Duckett says, check capacitor is still connected. Ooh, good call, Robin. Jackalope says, so could your glide frame fit a Caddx Nebula if I wanted to stick with my DJI stuff? Absolutely, Jackalope. The glide frame will very easily... It's got 20x20 mounts in the back. The only thing that you'd have to figure out is where you're going to put your capacitor. So, yeah. But absolutely, the glide will take a Vista in the rear. It fits perfect. All right, here we go. Not that you'd want to do that, you know, because analog for life. Not for life. Just for now. And anybody that's already on DJI, I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't a little jealous. But it's all right. It's worth waiting for. With this new camera setup, I can do this. I remembered the other day. Oh shit! I can do this little trick. Look at that. Look at that. What do you think of that? Looks terrible. Okay. Stop it. There we go. I am, for the record, I am really digging this FPV crate mat. It seems to really help the camera focus. It looks fucking cool. Like, this design looks really cool on the OBS preview screen. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this mat. The other thing I like about this mat is it has a little bit of grip to it. So when I'm doing some soldering and I'm holding the rig down, maybe like holding a wire, the rig doesn't move around as much. On the old mat, the rig would kind of squidge around and it would just kind of slide around. Whereas on this guy, it doesn't slide around as much. It's still, I mean, it's still like kind of slippery, I guess, a little bit, but not slippery enough that that it causes a problem. So yeah, I'm a fan of this. You might be able to just straight buy these from FPV Crate's website. Don't quote me on that. If somebody's interested though, and they go and they look that up, let me know if they sell it separately, because I don't know, I'm kind of digging this mat, to be totally honest with you guys. I'm pretty sure this mat is going to become the mat that I use forever. Kevin with 5 chuffs. Thank you for the chuffs, Kevin. He says, which stack do you recommend for the AOS 5 with the new 25mm FPV cycle motors, and what's your opinion on Shark Bite with the new pricing? My opinion on Shark Bite is that the fact that it's only 16x9 is a total deal breaker. 16x9 makes no sense to fly in. You lose out on a bunch of horizontal field of view unless they make a camera that's crazy wide field of view, like 170 or 180 field of view. That wide of an FOV in 16x9 will still give you good vertical field of view. But none of the current Shark Bite cameras are. They're all 150, 155, 160-ish field of view. And that field of view in 16x9 is very hard for me to fly because there's just not enough vertical field of view for you to really put the nose down and or put the nose up and not lose the subject that you're trying to fly around or with or whatever. Oh, look, this duct is broken. Cool. Man, I forgot how hard this thing is to work on with the ducts on. I think I'm gonna have to pull the ducts off to work on this thing. There's the camera ground. Oh man, it looked, well, yeah, there's the camera ground, and it does look like the camera ground is going to the back, so I think this is going to be a little bit more involved of a repair, which is not the end of the world. This thing has not been, this rig has done a lot of work over the past month, and I really haven't given it much, if any, love. So this is not necessarily the worst thing in the world to be pulling this thing apart and just looking for any weirdness. I'll replace this duct, which will be good, and just sort of give it a little refresh. Nothing wrong with that. So yeah, that's my biggest problem with Shark Bite. My other problem is that the brand new VTX is it looks like it's durable because it's a single PCB, but it's an awkward size. It's 20x20 mount, but it's really long in one dimension. So like, for example, it won't fit in the back of the Glide, which is a real pain in the ass. The previous 20x20 VTX uses a pin header and is a double PCB, and so it's not durable at all, because anytime these manufacturers ever use pin headers between two PCBs, on these rigs. It's just a total nightmare. Other than that, though, I'm interested in SharkBite. I've had SharkBite for a while. FPV Exchange sent it over for me to review, but I haven't reviewed it yet because I just, between the 16:9 thing and the fact that the VTXs are kind of a pain in the ass right now, I'm kind of like if I installed it to test it, I would then be removing it, and like I don't want to do that. Like I want to put it on and leave it on. So I'm just sort of waiting on. Really, what I'm waiting on is a 4x3 camera. The day that they release a 4x3 SharkBite camera is the day that I put SharkBite into a Cinewhoop, into that other Cinewhoop actually, or maybe this one. Come to think of it, depending on how much I like those Axis motors, because that pin-headed VTX in a Cinewhoop should be okay because Cinewhoops don't crash really hard. So yeah, I'm just sort of in a holding pattern on the SharkBite. In terms of what gear to buy for a 5-inch rig, Acon always for the ESCs. All of the Acon ESCs are fantastic. And then I don't ever really recommend stacks because typically either the flight controller or the ESC in a stack is kind of shit, and so and stacks aren't really any cheaper. Like, it costs the same amount of money to buy a separate ESC and flight controller. So yeah, ESCs I like Acon, flight controllers I don't really. I like Acon as well, but you can't find them. Well, unless you're on DJI. If you're on DJI, you can probably find the Acon DJI specific 20x20 flight controller, which is really good. Other than that, like T-Motor, I've heard really good things about their electronics at the moment. So I would check out their flight controllers, and yeah, I think that's about it. I think stick with T-Motor and you'll be good to go. So I'm just gonna like hit all these. I'm just gonna hit everything with wrenches, and because again, this thing has been out in the wild, ripping through a lot of batteries. I just want to make sure everything is still cranked down nice and tight. I mean, I do have like a rolling maintenance that I typically do on these things, so we're probably going to be fine. But while I'm here, might as well flip them switches, make sure it's good to go. Athix says they sell the mat separately. Very cool. If you decide to get one of these mats, do me a favor and use my affiliate link before you check out. My FPV Crate affiliate link is over at CiottiFPV.com. I am going to try to leave the propellers on. So, this is on a Rush 20x20 VTX, and the ground is coming out of there. It is. That's interesting. There is the little crossfire right below that, and there have been stories in the past of crossfires creating some strange interference, but any interference that the crossfire is creating should be through the antennas. It shouldn't be through the PCB itself. So, in theory, that's not the problem. Why is this VTX like practically falling off? What's the deal with that? Did those screws back out, or are these screws not long enough? I think these screws are not long enough. Yeah, the screw ain't long enough. So that's interesting. I can't imagine that's got anything to do with the video noise, but I certainly don't want screws that are too short in here. So let me back this. Hopefully I can get this out of here. Let me back this guy out and replace it. Or not, because it ain't going to want to come out of there, I don't think. Tempted just to leave this because the two rear mounting points are totally fine, but it's kind of silly to do that. The problem is it's hard to get this screw out from this frame. Only thing I don't love about this frame is that these rear screws are semi-obstructed by the bottom plate. But I think if you just kind of, yeah, they will come out. Yeah, you just got to kind of jam on them. There we go. So we're good. All right, so this guy's coming out. I'm just going to replace these two front screws with ones that are a little bit longer. So let's see what we got here. That is an M2 by 12. So we're going to go to an M2 by 13 or 14. 13 probably doesn't exist, so we're going to go to a 14. 10, 12, let's compare the length on the 12. Yep, that's a 12, all right. Cool, so 12 goes in there, we're going to grab a 14, and I'm going to, let me see if there's a 14 that's got a smaller head on it. No, there's not. It's just these. Yeah, it's fine. Alright, so let's throw that back in, and away we will go. So the way that I have this set up is I've got a nylon M5 spacer above the base plate, and then this M2 by 14 screw that goes all the way through it, and then it goes up through the Rush 20 by 20 and into one of the little plastic nuts. This is a cool little setup because it boosts the VTX up enough that I can then put the little crossfire right below it, right below and sort of under it. It's probably hard to see, but you can kind of see the front of the, yeah, it's really hard to see. Kind of see the front of the crossfire in there, right there. That's the front of the crossfire. And it just sneaks right under the VTX. Man, look at that Logitech snap focus right back. Good shit. All right, just making sure this is tight, and we're good to go. Now we'll do the other one. Perfect example of some shit that like you won't necessarily notice when you're initially doing the build. Come on. But if you take some time to do some maintenance, sometimes you can catch stuff like this. Like I bet you it was just catching like one thread when I put it together, and I was probably in a hurry. Probably like, it's fine, feels secure. But then once it started vibrating around and getting all beat up, it probably chewed up that one thread that it was locked into. Bob Noxious says, do you like the Rush? It seems fine. I don't not like it. I wouldn't say that I like it, but it seems totally fine as long as I can figure this out. As long as it's as long as this problem is not related to it, you know what I mean? Which it could be. I mean, it's not, I don't think it's specifically dropping the OSD out. I think that it's just getting enough noise that the OSD is smearing so bad that I just can't see it. So there's the potential that, you know, that I don't like this VTX, but so far it seems fine. The power is fine. I don't like that it's MMCX. I actually kind of hate that it's MMCX. I'm just not a fan of MMCX in any way, shape, or form. But should be okay. I mean, it's less of an issue on a Cinewhoop. I definitely don't want MMCX on a freestyle rig because there's no way to secure it. And on a hard hit, it's going to potentially just rip the antenna off, and then bad things can happen from there. So yeah, it seems okay. Seems alright. I've got one in both of these rigs, and yeah, it's alright. In theory. I'll know more in a little bit here, because it seems like I have a feeling that the grounds are on a shared pad. And if that's the case, I don't really know what I'm gonna do to troubleshoot this video noise issue. Other than replacing the flight controller, which is really annoying. But we'll see. We'll see. Rush seems to make a good VTX. I don't really hear many complaints about Rush VTXs, which is great because they're very inexpensive. They're as inexpensive as the Immersion RC Tramps, which I'm so fond of. Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. Oh, I see. I see. Okay. So, I think I know what the problem is. There is a shared ground situation going on here, but they're sharing the ESC ground. And I usually don't like to do that. I usually like to use a ground that's up on the flight controller a little bit farther away from all the noise that is the electronic speed controller. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the grounds off of the ESC, and I'm going to put them up onto the flight controller. And I'm actually really interested to see if that helps. It very well might not. Like, technically speaking, I don't think it should help, but I'll bet you it does. I'm also tempted to, so I've got the VTX being fed power and ground directly from the ESC. I would actually kind of love to also feed it VBAT from the flight controller itself. So let's see what I got to do to make that happen. So what do we got going on back here? What the hell? That looks a little weird. Hold on, I gotta look at this with the 5X loop. Stand by. Oh, well, that's weird. So we've got, oh, there's the VBAT pad. Okay, so I can put them both on that pad there. And, okay. Oh, this is a Talon F4. Interesting. Let me look at the legs of the OSD chip real quick under the 5X loop. Hang on a second, guys. Sometimes you can see if one of the legs is starting to come out. Nah, it looks fine. Looks totally fine. Yeah. Okay, so I just kicked the soldering iron on. I'm going to yeah, I'm gonna power this VTX from the flight controller. I'm not sure why I did that. This might have been a lazy man. This might be a lazy man move here. The fact that I powered these from the ESC. I really try not to do. I don't typically do that. There's just too much electrical noise on the ESC. I mean, for the same reason that AIOs suck balls. Having your electronic components connected in any way, shape, or form to the ESC is almost always a bad idea. I forgot to turn on the soldering iron. Great. Ribby Tim says, you don't know what to do to troubleshoot sounds like you should check FPVmentor.com. Everybody go check out FPVmentor.com or I will kill you in your sleep. Bob Noxious says, I have one, and I think I have the same issue with OSD. I can't remember now. Could be its bigger brother I'm thinking of. Interesting. Hell yeah, me too. Yeah, you know, it's funny. If I still can't fix this video noise problem, what I'm actually going to do is go to my Patreon page and hit Tech Talk. I put I have an article in there about troubleshooting video noise, and I pulled most of it from an Oscar Liang article that's hard to find on his website. But that's, yeah, if I run out of ideas, I'm sure there's more ideas that I haven't thought of. To be honest, every time I've had video noise problems, it's been because of not sharing grounds. Every single time that I've come in and fixed a non-shared ground situation, my video noise problems have gone away. And because of the fact that, like, every time I need to fix this, I only have to do that one thing, I don't remember anything else. I don't remember any of the other things that that can help out. Which, you know, is kind of a good problem to have. So, come on off of there. Come on. There we go. Okay. This is also a capacitorless setup. So that would actually be a really good, that would probably be my next step in trying to clean up this, fuck. I really don't want that to happen. In trying to clean up this video noise. But hopefully I don't have to do that. I really don't like the idea of having the VTX be powered from the ESC like this anyway. So I'm like definitely gonna fix this first. And then I might as well, you know, throw a battery on it and we'll see. Alright. So we got that going in there. I'm gonna reflow this ground just in case I got it a little too hot and it's now a cold solder. Come on. Flow, you bastard, flow. There it goes. Alright, now I gotta check if this thing bridged, because it looks like it did. It looks like it bridged to this capacitor that's right next door. Fucking A, it did. Alright. This is the Speedix GS25 ESC. I love that it's BL Heli 32. And it puts up with a good amount of abuse. What I don't like is the location of the battery pads. They're right in the middle of the goddamn ESC. And it's really annoying. They're like surrounded by tall ass capacitors, and it's not a good spot to put battery pads. But 2-3 years ago, this was the only real ESC option. Nowadays we have some other ESC options, but back then this was kind of it if you wanted BL Heli 32 in a nice lightweight ESC. Alright, so that fixed the bridging problem. Now I just need to get this thing back down on the pad, but I am going to take another quick look. Oh wow, no. I'm glad I looked. There's a tiny little bridge going on between this pad and the capacitor right next door. Which that should have just taken care of. Let's take another quick look. Hey, there we go. Alright, so let's get this ground pad back down here, and then we can put the VTX, VBAT, and ground pads onto the flight controller. I am going to add some flux here just to help this thing flow. It is the ground pad. It is spreading the heat all over the damn place. Let's get that on there, and I'm even going to put some on the wire itself. Remember, Tim says, last time I had an OSD cutting out is because the person I brought the drone from powered the VTX from the ESC. I moved it and it fixed it. Yeah, I feel like I've had that same experience in the past, which is why I'm kind of optimistic about this right now, Daniel. Every single time I've had a rig where the VTX is powered directly from the ESC, it's just not been quite right. Sometimes it's like, it's good enough, especially with the Acon ESCs on the 5-inch rigs because they're so clean. But a lot of times it's like just not quite there, not quite good enough. Man, it is hard to get this in there. That's what she said. Oh, I think I got it though. I think that was it. Alright, let's take a quick look. Yeah, there we go. And let me just look for bridges. Nah, we good. And that's nice and flat on the pad. Cool. Alright, so now I need to look up this this Talon F4 and well no, I found the pads. I'm good. Yeah, we're all set. So let me just wrap this like once or twice, no big deal. Around there. And then no, let's not do that. I'll unfurl it all the way. So I'm going to put this ground back here, and then when I spin this guy up, it's going to look like ass soup. So how much do I have? I just have like 1 or 2 little rotations there. All right, so let's do this. Take these, open these up, put the black one in there, like that, and then we'll just spin the little end here, and then I'll spin the rest of this with just these 2. That's the stuff. There we go. Cool. Because what's going to happen is the black wire is going to be all the way back here, but I still want this twisted pair there. So it's going to kind of come to the side, and then, yeah, that's good. That looks good. I'm not doing it so that it looks good. I'm doing it so that the wires stay together. Just helps with wire management. Okay, so I'm here. I might as well zap this this ground down real quick while I'm waiting. And it's on the far pad, so yeah, this is fine. Let's just hold this like this. And I'm actually gonna this smart audio is kind of close. Ah, shit, it just came off. God damn it. Here we go. Alright, I need to put this back on there. That's fine. Alright, there's that. And then kinda there we go. Come on. Remember, boys and girls, move the work, don't move yourself. Move the work to you, don't move yourself to the work. If you don't know what that means, ask me what it means in the chat, and I'll explain it. But I think you guys probably know what I mean by now. All right, so there's the smart audio back on there, and problem I was having is it was really close to this ground pad, and now it's not, so that's good. So now we're going to take our camera ground wire, and we're going to put it onto this ground pad. This ground pad is not tinned, so I just loaded up the tip of the soldering iron, and now it is tinned. Usually try not to do it that way, but we're in like really tight proximity here. Alright, so there we go with that ground pad, or ground wire going up to the camera. I need to take a look at that. That looks like it might be a little ugly. Yeah, it's disgusting. I need to actually remove a little bit of the solder from that, because it's kind of getting over towards that VBAT pad. Yeah, balls. Alright, that's better. I'm not, oh wow. Nope, that didn't stick at all. I don't need this to look beautiful because I'm going to put another one on top here. What I do need to do though is make sure that there's enough solder on here. But also make sure there's not too much solder, because I don't want it to bridge to the wire next to it. So let's just be ultra careful here. Okay, that should be fine. Take a quick look. When you're gonna, yeah, that's beautiful. When you're gonna put two wires onto the same pad, be very patient, because it's very easy to get it wrong. So just take your time for sure. And make sure that you get it right. Alright, so I just tinned up the VBAT pad, which is right next door. Let me take another quick look. Make sure it's not bridging. Actually might be bridging. I need to remove solder from this ground pad again. So I'm going to come in at an angle and just sort of like push it away. There we go. Always remember that solder travels towards the heat. So put the heat where you want it to go and it will chase. Hey, that's the ticket. Although, is there a little tiny solder ball in between? Is that what I'm seeing? Could just be a reflection. It was just a reflection. Okay, cool. All right. So now we need to get the VBAT and ground from the rush tank onto the flight controller here. So let's give these wires a little twist because they're traveling a shorter distance now. And let me just think about this for a second. So when this isn't going to mount like this. This is going to mount the other way. So when this mounts like this, I want those to just go straight there. So I want them to be, just thinking about wire routing right now, yeah, that's how I want them routed. Because when I mount this thing final, okay, perfect. So that's good. So I'm going to try the ground first. Hopefully the camera ground doesn't come off of that pad. That's the hard thing about doubling these things up. In order for that to happen, what I'm going to try to do is put this camera wire into a place where like the memory of the wire is not wanting to pull this thing out. So I'm just kind of moving this camera wire here, and it kind of looks like it's happy there. I mean, we'll find out in a second as soon as we melt this solder if that wire wants to run away. It's gonna run away, but hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it wants to stick around. There's a little bit too much wire on this for the size of that pad, so I'm just gonna shorten up the stripped part. If you guys didn't notice, when you cut with your flush cutters and you're cutting on top of the board, before you cut, take your index finger and put it over here. Put your index finger on top of that. That way, if the little piece of solder that you cut, it doesn't go flying or drop into the board. So you put, when you're ready to cut, put your index finger there, and then when you cut, the little extra bit will get caught between your index finger and the flush cutters, and then you can go and put it in your little garbage can. And listen for it to fall into the garbage can. If you don't hear it fall into your little garbage can, it might still be here. Try to find it. You're gonna want to find it. Alright, so let's give this a shot. Everybody cross your fingers for me that the camera ground doesn't run away, as they have a tendency to when you try to do this. So just using the tweezers to get this ground wire held perfectly in position. If it starts fucking with me, we'll have to break out the spring-loaded tweezers to hold that in place, but a lot of times I can get this to work. So let's give it a shot here, see what happens. Where the hell did the solder go? Well, let's try to do it dry. Maybe it'll work. Now it's on, but it really only flowed the top bit, and that kind of scares me. I always like to make sure it flows a little bit more than it just did. There it goes. There it goes. That's the stuff. Yeah, buddy. That was a good one. Didn't move, and doesn't look like it bridged either. Let's take a quick look. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let me see if I can show you guys. I doubt that you'll be able to see it, but I'll give it a shot. Manual focus, and I'm going to zoom it all the way in. So it's the very last pad on the right side of the screen. See it there? So we've got both wires going in. Got a nice little solder blob going. And yeah. That's what it looks like. It looks like the solder blob is a little too high up though, now that I... Hold on a second. No, we're good. We're good. Yeah, it's fine. There's a little bit of extra solder on there. I could... It would probably benefit me a little bit to remove some of the solder, but it's fine. It's okay. Kevin says, Acon F7 Mini HD 20x20 V3 plus Acon AK30 for the 5-inch rig are fine or best? Best. Yeah, that's really the best setup right there, Kevin. That is very similar to what I run in all of my glides. I don't use the HD version of that Acon F7. I use the discontinued, like, standard version. And then I use the 35 amp versions of the ESCs, but yeah, the 50 amp version of the ESC is even better. So, yeah, man, that's the hot setup right there, my friends. So now we got to put the VBAT on, and that'll be a lot simpler. Bring this around here and hold it in place with the tweezers. Bring our heat source in, ever so slightly tinned, and zip, zap, zippity zab. That didn't pick up any of the solder. It's because it's oxidized to hell. Because I haven't cleaned it in a while. Much better. There we go. Alright, let's see if that bridged, because these pads are real close together. Oh, now we're totally fine. Nothing but room. Cool. Well, let's see if that did the trick. I guess, technically speaking, I could fire this thing up as is, but I'm not gonna, because that's a little too sketchy. We're gonna plug the flight controller back into the ESC here. And come on, get in there. I mean, I'm tempted to just bolt it all back together and go. But there is the chance that this ain't gonna work. So I'll be a good boy and test it before we put it all back together, I guess. Just trying to think how to put load into this ESC safely. I mean, I could probably hold it. From in here. That's a pretty firm spot to hold it from. Could also hold it by the can. No, that's not really good. This is really the only spot. No, I don't want to hold it like that. And hold it in here. This will be all right. Be able to hold it in there. Should be okay. No, these fuckers are sharp. I'm going to put the ducts back on. It's easy to. I think the quickest thing is just gonna be to put the ducts back on. All right. Get this going here. Come on, come on, come on. I do want to plug the camera back in because I want to make sure that the camera is working. I did move the ground for the camera, so I want to make sure that yeah, there's nothing weird going on there. So let's get that tucked down there. I'm not going to put the nuts on top of this yet. So yeah, I'm just going to throw these ducts on. I think that's going to be the easiest way to make this thing safe. And we'll see if that did the trick. I bet you it did. Kevin says, thanks. Right9 space isn't really a problem. You're certainly welcome, Kevin. Right9 says, given the choice, 20x20 or 30x30 Acons. 30x30 on the ESC, 20x20 on the flight controller. There's really no reason to run a 30x30 flight controller anymore. 20x20 flight controllers are every bit as durable, and they save you a little bit of weight. I guess that's not true. I guess the reasoning behind if you were to do a 30x30 flight controller is if you're putting it into a frame where you have to pick either 20x20 or 30x30. So, like, for example, I would rather have a 30x30 flight controller farts. I would rather have a 30x30 flight controller. I'm sorry, 30x30 ESC and flight controller, rather than a 20x20 ESC and flight controller. It's not that much heavier, and I really feel like the 30x30 ESC is more durable. It's a bigger PCB. It's going to be able to spread the heat out more. And for me, all I care about with ESCs is durability. The Acon 20x20 ESC is supposedly bulletproof. Man, it took me forever to blow mine up. But I just don't see a world where a 30 by 30 ESC could be less durable than a 20 by 20. You know what I'm saying? And the difference in weight on a 5-inch rig is just I just don't think it's enough to warrant taking a potential hit in durability. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at there. But no, I mean, to be really honest, as long as you stick with Acon, I don't really think it matters. Their stuff is just so goddamn well made that you could totally make the case of 20 by 20 for life and save a little bit of weight, save a couple of grams. And I mean, it does make a difference, you know. A couple of grams here, a couple of grams there, a couple of grams here, a couple of grams there is the difference between a 630 gram rig and a 620 gram rig. I'm sorry, a 600 gram rig. So you could totally make the argument that since the Acon 20 by 20s are so stout, that you might as well just go for them. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I mean, it kind of doesn't matter either, because most frames are going to force you to choose. Like, most frames are going to be either set up for a 30 by 30 stack or a 20 by 20 stack, or the glide frame where you can do 30-30 ESC 20-20 flight controller. That's, in my opinion, that's the move. 20 by 20 flight controller, 30 by 30 ESC. But there aren't many frames that can accommodate that. Luckily, the best frame can accommodate that, which is the glide. So yeah, there's that. All right, fire in my hole. Let's plug this in with a smoke stopper first, because there's no reason not to. This is the Vifly V2. If you have any other smoke stopper, throw it away and buy this one. This one actually works. Arguably, none of the other ones work. VTX has power, and it's not on fire, so we should be set. Ow. I just hit my head. I'm going to just, like, jankily put this janky battery in Jankville here. Wait, shit, I'm not ready. Oh, God. Come on, come on, come on. I want to be able to show you guys the result. Oh no! I hit the button too many times. Hold on. 39, okay. Got that. Oh, nope. Oh, god damn it, the keystrokes are down, you piece of shit, OBS. Okay. Okay, wait, no. Closer. There we go. Alright, transmitter, where the hell are you? There you are. Ah. Alright, time to get a little sketchy. Not super sketchy, though. We're gonna be alright. We got the prop guards on, it's gonna be fine. Hold the battery like this, and good to go, my friends! Alright, let's see. Oh yeah. Clean video. It's very upset because like the flight controller is kind of half-assed in there. Yeah, good to go. Damn. That was easy. I was hoping that would fix it. Very cool. So there you have it. Even with shared so here's the wild thing about that, right? Here's the really interesting, to me at least. Here's the really interesting thing about that as a fix, right? In theory, I don't actually know if this is the case. In theory, the VBAT pads on the ESC that this was hooked up to go directly to the plug header with VBAT out on the ESC, up a set of wires to the VBAT in on the plug header of the flight controller, through a trace to the VBAT pad that I just put that on. Why the hell, right? Why the hell would what I just did do anything? If I didn't have the grounds shared, the reasoning could be delay. But I did. I had the ground shared on the ESC. The only thing I could think of is that the ESC pads on the ESC, so the battery pads on the ESC, the voltage comes in and it goes through something. It goes through a capacitor or capacitors. It goes through something that cleans it up before it goes to the plug header on the VBAT wire going out, or on the flight controller, the VBAT comes in through the plug header and goes through something, a capacitor, resistor, God knows what the hell. I'm not super great with electricity. But I don't think so, right? Like, I feel like the VBAT pads, the battery pads on the ESC, go straight to the VBAT out, and then on the flight controller, the VBAT in goes right to the VBAT pads, you know what I mean? If that were the case, I feel like if that were the case, then this fix wouldn't have worked, right? So I feel like by doing this fix for the 4th or 5th time and having it fix the problem, it's telling us that there is something in line. There's something in line on the VBAT traces, right? That cleans up the voltage a little bit. Not the voltage. It cleans up the whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just know that it fixed it. Get this focused again. Out, 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 in. There we go. What's going on here in the chat? Michael Blade FPV says, I'm so happy that I bought the Glide. It's my best rig so far. Michael Blade knows. He knows the best frame in the world. Metal Dirtskin says, I saw Andy Shen post that a TPU shim between the plastic ducts on his Terraplane, which is similar, reduces duct resonance and flex. Worth a try, I guess. Interesting. The noise floor and the performance of this Cinesplore frame is outrageous. This frame doesn't need any bullshit. It just needs to be put up in the air and flown. It's really impressive. So yeah, I mean, I don't need to try anything like that, but I guess if you guys are having issues with Shen's frames, that's something that you can try. I've just had this Cinesplore frame is something else, man. It's just unreal. I mean, the shit that I've been able to get away with this rig is silly. It never ceases to amaze me with how just the weight, the strength, the ducts that are easily removable, the serviceability, the removable arms, like it's the one, man. It's the one. I've seen so many other Cinewhoop frames, and it's like they're either really heavy or like they're impossible to work on, or like there's all these problems with them. Like this doesn't, and it makes sense, right? Like Bob waited to make this until all the other Cinewhoop frames were out. So he learned all the lessons from all those other frames and fixed all those things, right? So like it totally makes sense, but yeah, I don't know. I really feel like this is the one. It really is just a joy to fly and work on. Time to grab some nuts, boys and girls. I am gonna grab the shit out of your nuts. Not your nuts, my nuts. I'm gonna grab my own nuts for about 10 minutes. You ready? 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 You're not ready. I'll give you a second to prepare for mega nut grabbing by getting caught up on the chat. Dragonwing FPV says, when your ground is too close to the point of capacitance, the capacitor introduces L noise. Interesting. Those battery pads are in the middle of that ESC, and they are surrounded by those little tiny square rectangular capacitors. So I wonder if that could be it. Sounds like it could. Dragonwing says the VBAT pad is further from the point of capacitance. Very interesting. Quadzimoto says, what motors are on the Cinesplore? This particular one is on the Brother Hobby VY 2004 3150 kV motors. I do not recommend these motors. The motor shaft slips on the motor bell, unfortunately. I think the motors that I'm going to be suggesting are the motors that I'm going to put onto this other Cinesplore. I was going to try to do it today, but it's after 5 o'clock already. And I really do want to go out and fly. What time's sunset? Let's see. What time is sunset? Sunset is at 8. So if I swap these motors, I could probably get it done by 6. By the time I get out of here, it'll be 6:30. I've only got 5 batteries charged. Probably swing that. Let's get it done. I do have to also... let's put this back together and we'll see what time it is. No promises. Oh, god damn it, OBS. There we go. Yo, look how cool this fucking mat looks like. Oh my... Looks like? Why did I say like? Look how cool this mat looks. It's got like this fucking sunburst with the traces. It really looks cool. Every time I switch to this camera, I'm like, damn! Sweet looking. Alright, motherfuckers. Prepare to watch a man grab his own nuts. In 3, 2, 1. Oh. That was a good one. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. That's too much. Alright, I'll stop. Twist it, baby. Yeah. Twist that shit. Why would I say I'm gonna stop and then just not even slow down? That's what she said. Alright, nut number 3 being grabbed since I grew up near a nuclear power plant. And I've twisted my 3rd nut. Gotta go to the doctor to get that taken care of or else it'll fall off. And nut number 4, because nuclear radioactive waste. Oh, there we go. Wow. Was that as good for you guys as it was for me? I doubt it. I doubt it because your nuts remained ungrabbed. If you'd like a nut grabber, if you'd like to be able to grab your own nuts, there's a link down in the description, an affiliate link to Amazon, to get your own extra sexual, not sexual at all, nut grabber. Ruby Tim has reported the stream for explicit content. Dragonwing FPV says, that's nuts! Let's get these guys tightened down a little bit. We're going to tighten our nuts now. Nothing worse than a loose nut, as we all know. And game, set, match. Just getting these a little tightened up here, just a little bit, not too loose, not too tight, just like my ex-wife. Oh, shit. Oh my god. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk a year ago when I started making ex-wife jokes that I would actually be able to legitimately make ex-wife jokes? It was almost worth it. Oh shit. Alright, let me get these, let me get the tightness locked in on these nuts. Oh, that's a little too loose. Okay. Let's get that a little tighter. I certainly didn't think it, but you know, it's fine. It's fucking fine. Everything is fine. Everything is great. Living my best fucking life right now, boys and girls. You ain't got to worry about old CiottiFPV anymore. He got him a goddamn girlfriend, and she's nice, and dating, and FPV stuff is taking off. It's going well, man. It's going real fucking well. I'm a lucky dude. I've put in a lot of work this year on myself and just on like kind of everything. And you know, that's what's kind of paying off here. But you know, I'm still very lucky. I'm still very lucky to have met yeah, the people that I've met and have had the experiences that I've had, including you guys. I'm lucky to have met every single one of you motherfuckers. And the fact that you guys stick around is very, very cool. Alright, just getting these. This is probably hard for you guys to see, but it's fucking hard for me to see, so you just gotta give me a minute to get this knocked out. I'm just tightening nuts. And there we have it. Main Cinewhoop back on its feet, ready to go and make some more goddamn magic. If you haven't seen any of the recent Cinewhoop stuff that I've been doing, head on over to my Instagram page. Most of it is up and linked over there. I've gotten to do some really cool shit, and there's some really cool shit coming. I don't have my part 107 yet, so I'm just doing everything gratis as marketing and as just fun flying, which is fine. I'm getting tied in with the right people. At some point when I get my 107, I'll be able to start charging for it, but for right now I'm just having a blast doing it all for fun. The man said on the live stream. I don't know why I thought that would stay in there. All right, there we go. And kind of interesting. These two screws had, I don't know if maybe I just didn't crank them down, but at some point they backed themselves out. So I'm actually giving them a little bit more of a crank here. And there we go. All right. All set, and now we just got to do the front ones, which are actually titanium. One of these days I'm going to switch this whole rig over to titanium screws, because it's just never going to really crash hard enough to max out and break the titanium screws. But what I need to get, it uses conical screws on the... oh man, I didn't realize this was in view. Sorry guys. It uses conical screws here, and I don't have any titanium conicals, which is kind of annoying. But whatever, it's fine. Hey, look at us go! Main Cinewhoop is all set. The only screws that I didn't crank down are these M2s, the inner arm screws, but I've not ever needed to, and yeah, they're still plenty tight, so we're good to go. Sweet! All is right with the world in Cinewhoop land. Hopefully these Brother Hobby Motors keep going. These ones are right. I check these after every battery to make sure the shafts aren't slipping by just pushing up on the motor bells. And these four have been fine. I've had two of them. I've had two of these Brother Hobby VY motors so far where the shafts have slipped. And unfortunately, you can't get these motors anymore. So at some point, these motors will let go, and I won't be able to replace them, which will be fine. I'll put this onto the Axis motors more than likely at that point. this duct does have a little crack in it, but it's probably okay. Oh Christ, this one has a crack in it as well. Well, I'm gonna do that off stream because that's pretty fucking boring to watch me do. You gotta file away at the duct a little bit. I have a million of these ducts. So yeah, I'm gonna do that off the stream, but in order to remind myself, I'm gonna actually pull these ducts off because I need to actually do this like tonight, so this thing is ready for this week. Metal Dirksen says, I have my 107 and would love to pick your brain on how one gets into doing that stuff other than being an amazing freestyle pilot, of which I don't have a hope in hell. Metal, I mean, to be really honest, you just have to put yourself out there. You've got to find local people that are making films, basically. Making commercials, making films. There's not a whole lot of magic to it. It's a lot of like sending. So like I do most of my marketing over on Instagram, and I just look for people in Atlanta that are doing like drone shots and little commercials and music videos and shit like that, and then I send them a nice little message saying, hey, I fly FPV drones. Here's a link to my YouTube channel with some work examples. There's also some work examples here on my Instagram page. And then you don't hear back, and you do that 100 more times, and when you've done it 100 times, one person will get back to you. And then when that one person gets back to you and you do the job for them, when they post the end result, hopefully a lot of people comment on it. And what I do is I go through all those comments and I message every single one of those people and say, hey, thanks for the love. I would love to work with you. Let me know when you're ready. And that's sort of been it. It's more marketing than anything else. I mean, you do have to have work examples, right? Like you do have to go do your own, right? Fly your own house, or just go do some guerrilla flying and just get some shit up on your whatever social media platforms you're on. But other than that, it's just trying to find the people. Just trying to find the lads that might need FPV drone flying, and it's kind of difficult. Like there's not like a magic bullet for it. It's just you gotta sort of be creative in that way, and just like think outside the box and just try to figure out what local people might benefit. And then, you know, you can also do the route of like physically going into businesses. I mean, you can, I mean, it just think like, you just gotta put like your marketing hat on, right? And you just gotta like think about it from a marketing standpoint, because that's the only way to get the gigs, right? Is to have that marketing thought process so that you can then find the people that might need you. I was lucky enough to find actually, I guess I forget how him and I started talking, but the guy that I've done most of my work for is a producer and an editor, and he saw the value, and so you gotta take like a bunch of steps back, basically, right, and think about like, where does the value of like where does it start, right? So it starts at the script, basically at the script writing, the person writing the script for the movie, for the short film, for the commercial. That person needs to understand that FPV exists first and foremost, because without that understanding, they won't know that we can put a camera 100 feet in the air, look it straight down, and dive directly down on the subject, right? typically you can't like find the people that are writing the scripts. You've got to try to find like the editors that then talks to the person that's tied into the people that are writing the scripts. Although with smaller stuff, with music video stuff, there isn't a script. It's just all fucking Wild West. Show up, dance around, we'll point a camera at you, whatever. So you just need to get tied in with those different people. Editors, sound people, potentially script writers, producers, artists. You can wrap it all up with the word artists. You got to get tied in with artists. That's really what it is. Do whatever it takes to get involved in wherever the hell the artists are hanging out with you locally. And then just make it known that you fly FPV. And then wait. Like, it takes time. Like, because there's not an opportunity for us on every single music video. I mean, there kind of is, but they can't afford us for that. And or they just don't, their head's not wrapped around it yet. What's cool is it acts like a flywheel. Like, you do one gig for a person, and then like they get to see like what's really popular. Like, this is what my experience has been, and everybody else that I've talked to. You just put energy into this flywheel in their brain of, holy shit, I can do anything with a camera, right? Like, it's really hard for somebody that doesn't know FPV to understand what we can do. And so when they're thinking about the next music video, they're not thinking like, ooh, all the amazing FPV shots. They're thinking like, okay, the story behind the song, the lyrics behind the song are this. I need to show a fire on the drum set. Where can I do that safely, right? Like, they're not thinking like, oh, I can orbit it in 60 frames a second and slow it down. So the more you work with them, the more their brain like can have that thought process, right? And I'm definitely seeing that with the guy that I've been working a lot with, Spuds. But it's a long process. It's frustrating because you know how good it would be for these people or for these businesses, and they just can't wrap their heads around it. That's why it's so important for you to have something for them to look at. The problem is most of them don't click it. You send them your info and they look at it and they go, okay, great, sounds good, thanks. And that's it. They don't bother clicking on it. So that's why you just have to do it over and over and over and over again. Because as we all know,
諦めんなよ諦めんなお前どうしてそこでやめるんだそこでもう少し頑張ってみろよダメダメダメやめ諦めたら周りのことを思うよ応援してる人たちのことを思ってみろってあともうちょっとのところなんだから俺だってこのマイナス10度のところしじみが取れるって頑張ってんだよ絶対やってみろ必ず目標達成できるだからこそネバギブアップ
goddamn keystrokes. Oh, God. Never give up. Kevin Summer says, where do you get your titanium nuts and screws? These I got from Pyrodrone, but they're not great. There is a company that has good quality titanium. Come on. And that company is called... Oh, man. I thought I bookmarked them. I don't think I did. Is it rcscrews.com? No, it's not. Is it? It is rcscrews.com. I think this is the company. They're expensive. The good ones are expensive. The cheap ones that you can get off the... Yeah, hey, there they are. So this is the company that has good quality ones. It's going to cost you a fucking fortune, but go figure. Good quality costs. Yeah. So there's that. rcscrews.com. Let's see. Ready, guys? Ready? Let's see. Big moment. Big moment. Be in stock, motherfucker. Be in stock. Be in stock. Oh, come on, man. Be not sold out. All right. I'll just keep waiting. Journey Druid says it's not what you know, it's who you blow. Pretty much. Random FPV says, how's my babies? Patio Patterson says, I mean, like, come on. I agree, Patty. Cinesplore number 2. Let's, I don't know, we'll see how far we get. I'm not going to guarantee that I get all the way through this, but I'll at least start tearing this apart. Are these titanium on this as well? Yes, they are. There we go. Yeah, the titanium screws that you can get for cheap from Pyrodrone and RDQ and Get FPV, they strip out very, very easily. So I have to use these MIP drivers on them, or else they will strip out. The WIHA drivers and pretty much every other driver other than MIP will strip these cheap titaniums out. All right. So this guy's got a white rush tank in it. And man, this is clean up in here. What am I doing on this? Oh, the motors. I didn't even need to remove that. What did I remove the, that was weird. I did not need to remove that top plate, but whatever. Patio Patterson says, use your own link. Yeah. Whack FPV says, Amazon has the Go 2 in stock. Whack FPV, do me a favor. The Amazon has had the Go 2 in stock, but unfortunately, every time that I look, there is no Assurion damage protection available for it. Can you do me a favor and take a look and see if any of the, because it sounds like you're on there, see if that's an option. I'm willing to bet that it's not going to be, unfortunately. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. I don't care. I don't care if it's Best Buy or if it's Amazon. Either one of them, if I can get damage protection on the... I won't buy the Insta360 Go 2 without physical damage protection. And Insta360 Go's physical damage protection that they offer is apparently worthless because they don't fucking return your emails when you break the damn thing. Somebody in the chat a couple of weeks ago had 3 Insta360 products in for repair, and he was unable to get anybody to pick the fucking phone up. And it had been a while. Like it wasn't like, oh, they just arrived. It was like he'd sent 3 of them in at different times. So yeah, that's no good. No good. I would really prefer Best Buy to get it. RAM, we looked at that Flywoo 1S board last week at some point. The VTX is definitely too tall, and the VTX has a plug header going like outwards in a really stupid direction, which basically that Flywoo 1S board is only for whatever the hell Flywoo bind and fly they're putting it in. But there is another 1S board that we looked at. Who's it made by, guys? Do you remember? Was anybody on that stream where we looked at that? There's another brand new 1S Cinewhoop board that I'm actually really impressed by. It's made by one of the other companies. If you just go into like Pyrodrone or Get FPV or RDQ's new items and start scrolling through, It's going to be in there. It's going to be like 2 or 3 pages in. You'll find it. And that one looks pretty good. If I have to buy another Cinewhoop AIO, I'll be buying that one. I will not. I don't think I will buy the Newbie Drone V3 because it's expensive. Puh! Great. Lotto Dirksen says, I tried the Darwin FPV-1S board and it blew up instantly. Stay away. Awesome. Way to go, Darwin. iFlight. There it is. Thank you, Bobby Bags. Yeah, iFlight has a new 1S board that looks like it's the one. It's got an MPU 6000 gyro, which is my main gripe against the Newbie Drone V3. But it also has regular PH 1.0 motor connectors rather than the stupid ass proprietary PH 1.25s on the Newbie Drone V3. Don't mind me, I'm just hitting things with a hammer. Everything's fine. Okay. So, FPV Cycle 2204s are coming off. I don't know what I'm going to do with these motors. I feel bad getting rid of them. Like, I feel like I should hang on to them. But I don't really know... I don't really know where these belong. Like, 2204... in my opinion, I think it's a little bit too much stator width and not enough stator height for anything other than a Cinewhoop. But then these Cinesplores, again, in my opinion, are just not heavy enough for this big of a motor. So, like, I don't know. I don't know where to put these damn things. It's interesting. Maybe they'll end up in a giveaway, which you can enter by joining my Patreon over at CiottiFPV.com. Or I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with them. I guess if at some point I build a heavyweight Cinewhoop, they'd be perfect. But I don't know why I can't come up with a usage for a heavyweight Cinewhoop. Like I get it. You can build a Cinewhoop that's really durable. Like, I understand that. But, like, why? Like, what's the point of having a bomb-proof Cinewhoop? Like, in what scenario do you need a Cinewhoop to be bomb-proof? They go 4 miles an hour. They get pushed all around by the wind, and when they're heavy, they're like not maneuverable worth a shit, like, because they have so much mass and momentum. I just don't. Beneducian says, put them on the ripsqueak and build the Shelby Cobra of quads. Yeah, I mean, like, these are high KV too. These are like 3450 KV. Yeah, I don't know. But I feel bad getting rid of them. I really do, because they're beautiful motors. They're amazingly well balanced. On a heavy Cinewhoop, they're like the absolute tits. But on these lightweight ass Cinesplores, it's just too much. It's just too much motor, too much murder. So I don't know. I've like barely flown them too. They're fucking fresh. I've maybe put like 5 batteries through them. And since they're, you know, on a Cinewhoop, they're like brand new, you know? Motors don't take any abuse on Cinewhoops. It's kind of cool. I don't know. And you guys want to buy them? I mean, I could. Oh shit! You know what I should do is put them on FPV Exchange. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll throw them up on FPV Exchange. The motor wires are cut down really short, but I mean, you know, if you're not running race wires at this point, then you're smoking crack. So, you know, start if you aren't. Yeah, I guess I should do that. I guess I should throw them on FPV Exchange, get some money out of them, and that'll cover some of the cost of the Axis 2004 motors that I'm putting on here. Gotta be a little more careful with money lately. I gotta be. I was buying like a lot of stuff to do testing with earlier this year. I was also sort of like self retail therapying from all the bad shit that happens. I gotta kind of cool it, especially because I gotta buy the Mazda 2, and that's gonna cost a fucking fortune. I delayed my taxes until October, so there's a potential that I'll owe a bunch on taxes from last year. So yeah, I've been. In case you guys have been wondering why I haven't been buying much shit lately, this is kind of why. Which is fine. I always like to be put in check financially every so often, because you know, we're guys. We know how to spend some fucking money. Am I right? And I also have like a lot of builds that need to get done. Like, it kind of doesn't make sense for me to buy anything else when I've got like a dozen builds stacked up, needing to be done, needing to be built. So yeah, we'll see. Jackalope FPV says, do motors need to be tuned after so many flights? Like, do they lose their tune over time? Not really. I mean, the magnets could, if you're not keeping an eye on your the temperatures, the magnets could become a little bit less magnetic. But I mean, you shouldn't really need to like retune. The reason you would need to retune is if you're banging the motors up and the motor bells are getting bent and you're not replacing them. Then you could potentially need to back your tune off a little bit, because you're going to start to get vibrations and all kinds of other nonsense. But in terms of just, you know, the motors spinning and not taking physical damage, they should be good for a long time. You'll almost always break a motor before like the bearings wear out or anything like that. What is holding on to this? What's happening? Oh, there it is. All right. Shiny new. You know what? These are the 2203s. Okay. So anybody out there want the ultra rare? Want to buy the ultras? They're going to be expensive. Oh man, yeah. Somebody that's on. That's what I should do. Find people that are on the 2203 FPV cycle motors and can't get direct replacements. So what happened is Bob changed from 2203 to 2204. So anybody that has the 2203s can't get a 1-to-1 replacement. But I've got 4 of these sons of bitches. So yeah, I'm gonna charge $100 a motor. I'm gonna make some money off these. Why is this not releasing? Release! Come off of there! What is holding this on? Oh, it's that first one. It's the first one. I see it. Oh, god damn it. Come on, man. Can you fucking... Can't you just be cool and come off of there? Can't you just not be a dick? Get off of there! Bro, what are you doing? God damn. we go. 2 FPV Cycle 2203s. Jackalobosa says, makes sense. Nazgul bind and fly, hum beautifully, but now it sounds like they sound like trash. Yeah, they sound like trash because you've been crashing them. The motor bells are all bent up. Do that, Jackalope. Have you seen me do the motor testing and the motor tab? Do that. I bet they're all noisy because they're all probably bent to shit. It's very normal, very common rather. Bobby Bags didn't tag me, but I happened to see it. He says, "How do those FPV Cycle 2204s fly on the 4-inch 4-ride?" Probably pretty good, actually. These would probably be a decent choice for a 4-inch rig. I would rather have like a 2005, something with a little bit more stator height, but they should be actually pretty damn good on a 4-inch rig. Because the 2004s, the 1804s are definitely too small for 4-inch. The 2004s feel great on 4-inch. So, yeah, the 2204s, or in this case 2203s, more than likely would feel really good as well. Oh, god damn it, come on. Come on. There we go. Just get this little extra solder out of here. Come on. There we go. Now what am I doing? What am I doing? Okay. Last motor coming off. Thinking about calling it after this. What time is it? 5:50. Yeah. I'm gonna call it after this, and I'll put these. I'll put these new motors on maybe tomorrow night, maybe off stream, maybe Patreon only stream. I told you guys I was gonna do a Patreon only stream the other day, and then I didn't. My apologies. I just got busy. I got a ton of shit going on, and just trying to juggle it all. It's difficult sometimes, but only one way through it. What the hell's going on over here? Okay. Oh yeah, there we go. That's the stuff. I'm trying to lay the tip across all 3 pads and yoink them all at once. It's because these motor leads are so short. It's hard to remove them individually. Look at that. That went really well. Happy with that. Alright. FPV Cycle 2203s for sale with custom extra short leads. That's the way the ad is going to read. Custom, lightweight, CiottiFPV approved short leads. Ooh. Ah. Jackalope says, so can that be tuned out, or do I just need to replace the motors? You, technically speaking, you can add more filtering and remove P&D gain, but now your rig is going to fly like a bag of shit. So that decision is up to you. I will spin the motors up individually, figure out which one is the worst, change that one out, and then see how things are going. I will typically not try to tune that shit out. Wonder what color these LEDs are. Is that like a green? I think that's green. Cool. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to leave it there. We will put the Axis motors on this maybe tomorrow night, maybe off stream because it's just soldering, stripping, tinning, soldering. These ducks on the floor here. Thanks for hanging out, ladies and germs, mainly germs. Racewire compatible, exactly, Metal. Tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern time. Giveaway, Monday night giveaways. If you want to get on the giveaways, you got to join the Patreon. Yeah. I'm gonna go break some shit. I just realized that I forgot to plug in my goddamn sessions to power. Yeah, maybe I'm not going out to fly. Fuck. Maybe they still have some power left in them. Thanks for hanging out. Here comes some flying. You guys are super awesome. Don't let the world get you down. You are better than that. You are valued. You are an awesome human being. I know it's a tough place to live, but keep your head down. Smash through. You can do this. I promise you. If I can do it, anybody can. Here comes some flying. This is from the day when I was testing the F40 Pro 4s out for the first time. Enjoy! Love you lots. Be good. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Here we go. Later, guys.
This is my transmission.